recognizing more than just coming out and marching. I'm hearing people talking about voter registration drives, voting groups. It's an exciting time.
You know, Clausen, Chicago was ground zero before Minneapolis, and I'm wondering, how are people still? Is that still resonating even today? The sort of anger and frustration that people felt when you and I were both out there earlier this year. Yeah, it was earlier this year.
The anger is definitely still there. People are still furious about the way ICE is treating individuals. You probably saw last week, U.S. citizen landed at O'Hare and was detained by DHS, basically kidnapped in Wisconsin. No charges ever filed. So this kind of fascism is still front and center here. And if you'll recall, Don, when you and I were out here last summer, the DHS data showed that 97.4% of the people detained had no criminal record whatsoever. People remember that. And they also remember the fact that under leadership like Mayor Brandon Johnson, crime in Chicago is at historic 50-year lows. And so the people here are pissed off that as things are getting better and better, you've got the president of the White House sending his goons to try to make them worse and worse. And so the folks here are working together, and that's the energy we need to continue to carry forward right now.
I'm sorry, I got my. They on the facing down. I was answering the door. My bad. I was answering the door. Hi, this is Steve Malfam. What's up, everybody? I'm here reviewing the protest, No King protest march. My bag, I forgot. Am I still I think I still be recording here. I don't know why I ain't getting close. Ain't gonna be on too long. I'm just reviewing the march on live. I'm gonna try to get closer, y'all. I don't know how to zoom my camera and stuff in. Trying to get close. My kitty cat, my cat now. I mean, why you gonna come down over here? Can't get too close. My cat, my baby don't touch something on my phone. I'm trying to go live. I'm reviewing y'all the No March, Key March, what everybody doing.
Harry Dunn, author, political candidate, and police officer who protected us during January 6th. Harry, how are you feeling about all of these the folks who've gathered?
It's great. I will start with this. It didn't have to be like this. We could have been at brunch. We could have been at brunch. It's a beautiful Saturday. I'm here on the mall right now. I'm getting ready to the stage. I'm right here at 3rd Street in Washington, D.C.
I'm not being out here.
I always get I
It's
get
G-Mon
excited when I
family.
see
I'm just
people like
reviewing
that. That
everybody
energy that's out
on
there is
YouTube
real. It's,
about the march, no
however,
key march.
it makes me mad that we're here now because, like I said, it didn't have to be like this. We got to carry this energy into November at the polls and beyond. Because that's why we are here now where we are. Because people get complacent and think that, hey, democracy's just going to work. No, we have to continue to fight for it for the rest of our lives. Now, I'm not saying we have to be out in the streets protesting every quarter of the year, but no, we have to make sure we're engaged about our candidate, and that's why I'm glad to be running. I'm glad to be running. When I ran last time, it was about the threat of what Donald Trump can do. It's no longer a threat. We're living it now, and he has 3 more years to do even more harm that we've already seen. So, listen, I encourage everybody out there listening now to do whatever you can. Your part is. I'm saying everybody run for Congress.
I'm sorry, y'all. My cat keep on messing with the
You want to go
phone.
join that dysfunctional Capitol Hill. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But it takes people that are going to stand up. But stand up and they're going to fight and do it. And
Sorry for coughing.
I'm glad that everybody.
I'm a little kind of
People
sick a
are
little
out there.
bit.
They're not getting paid to do this. Everybody's thanking me for, hey, thank you for saving democracy. No, I did my job. I got paid for what I did on January 6th. See, people out here now are showing up unpaid because they care. And that's what we need to see continually and not just on No Kings 3. Let's take this energy into November and beyond.
Hey, but
Oh
Harry,
my gosh,
Harry, Harry's says Harry is also battling for the truth. And Donald Trump, each and every day, his administration trying to erase the truth with the help of some of the networks, by the way, what happened on January 6th. And that is important that is never erased, ever, ever, ever.
I've always been thankful for you all for speaking truth to power. You all, Don, Joy, Jim, y'all know y'all got a special place in my heart. And I just love y'all for speaking truth to power. So y'all keep it up. I love y'all to death.
Appreciate you,
Harry Dunn, before you leave, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jolly.
Hey, listen, show that crowd right there. I'm bringing all these people to 3rd Street right now, Harry.
Well, I'm here. I'm gonna hop out real quick to 10. We're waiting on you, brother.
There you go. Show your seat.
We're waiting on you, brother. Come on.
Harry, are you about to speak?
Yeah, I'm speaking in about 15, 20 minutes.
All right.
And Harry, by the way, this time around has the endorsement of Nancy Pelosi. Harry's candidacy is for real, you guys. This is going to happen. This is going to happen.
Thank you, man. Thank you, y'all. I appreciate it. From your lips to God's ears. Let's do this thing.
Can I just let you all know real quick? We love Harry Dunn, but I got to let you all know that Bruce Springsteen is on stage right now in Minneapolis.
Wow.
He's headliner at what is considered the marquee event today, potentially the largest of all the No Kings rallies is the one in Minneapolis. Of course, that is where the George Floyd protests happened. There he is, Bruce. And that, of course, is where you saw 2 citizens shot dead, one by ICE, one by Border Patrol.
Leave back to me.
Hey, murders
what's up?
of Alex Brady and Renee
Y'all be
Nicole
safe
Goode
out there. If y'all marching, be safe.
Floyd energy. So look at that crowd, you all. That is amazing. It is so large. I will note, Don and Jim, just to give you our mainstream media update right quick. MSNBC,
I'm not gonna be on too long.
Is now covering this live. They're covering Minneapolis, New York City, Boston. Everybody's going to cover this because Bruce Springsteen is there. CNN is now covering it. ABC is not. They are covering Nevada and UFO lore. Fox is covering Iran war and Tiger Woods DUI. Yeah. BBC, no coverage, talking Iran.
Probably saying, boy, in the USA. Probably saying that.
So has now finally started covering. I mean, to be honest with you guys, independent media is where the majority of people have experienced this No Kings 3. They've experienced it more consistently, with more direct coverage, more coverage from the streets, from us, than they have from the mainstream media. That is worse than it was in No Kings 1 and 2. It's actually deteriorated somewhat in terms of the attention. I'm sure everybody will do stories tomorrow, and of course Bruce Springsteen is going to bring information, but he's going to bring attention. But just wanted to let you all know. It looks like Nick Valencia has someone to talk to. Should we bring him in?
Yeah.
Next to the man.
Go ahead, Nikki. What you got? Tell us where you are.
Hey, Joanne, welcome here to On the Ground in Los Angeles, where things are going to get kicked off here for another 2 hours, but we're joined here. Can you guys hear me? By one of the main organizers here, Petra Escobar. If you're watching from California or Los Angeles, you've seen Petra before with quintessential organizers out here. What does No Kings 3.0 mean to you?
To me, it's the most American thing you can do right now in these troubling times as our liberties, our rights to free expression are slowly being stripped away. I think it is the most American thing you can do to take up a banner, take up a sign, take up arms to protest, exercise your First Amendment right, and say that you are disagreeing with this fascist regime that is in the White House right now. Not one party has a claim to patriotism, and I think the most patriotic thing you can do is voice your displeasure and your concerns for the path this country is going down.
And as we're joined here, I want to just take a 360 view here of what things are setting up. This is where the march is going to be. And if you're familiar with downtown LA, this is exactly where all the No Kings protests have been. That sidewalk behind me, that's where they had LAPD horses nearly trample demonstrators here back in June. And to remind viewers, the siege of America happened here in Los Angeles. It started here in Compton, in Paramount. How have things changed? How have they gotten worse, Petra?
A lot of the main battling in the streets has kind of died down a lot. I was here in June when the
The Bill Colonial Bank offers guaranteed acceptance life insurance for those aged 50 to 85 in most states. So if
Sorry
you're
about that,
concerned
that
about pre-existing
commercial.
conditions or qualifying for a traditional life insurance,
Guess I got paid
Last week, our store camera
that commercial.
there was an entire police line right down this crosswalk. I was hiding behind a tree with a friend. That has changed to become community power, community organization. We've taken our anger from the streets into the election booths, into city council, into community activist organizations like Break Ice LA, which is what I help run. We have taken that anger and made it into something more constructive, more political, and going after the companies that are backing the ICE rates like Home Depot, Target, and Spotify, because our only voting power now is our dollars.
And it's not just about Donald Trump here. I mean, speak on that part. I see a petition behind me here, sign the petition to tax the billionaires. This is more than just one man.
Yes, absolutely. Trump is not just, he's not the cause of all of this. He's kind of a symptom of it. But the cause of it really boils down to a select few elites earning billions of dollars, billions of dollars now, while people are struggling to make rent, are struggling to buy groceries, struggling to put their kids through college. The American dream is no longer working for the vast majority of people in this country. Documented or not. And it is brought to the core to the point where the only way to really work our way out of it is starting to tax the billionaire class more or less out of existence. No one needs $1 billion.
No, well, how you can spend all that money in your lifetime. Petra Escobar, thank you so much for taking the time. With these heavy hitters, Joanne Reed, John Lemon, and Kim Acosta, man.
Salute to Don, salute to Kim, salute to everyone there. Don, you've been keeping it real. I love the work you're doing.
Oh, man, Don, thank you so much, Petra. We'll catch up with you later. Don, you got a big fan base. You too, Joanne.
Hey,
they got this federal building behind me here, and they said you must have been walking out with Tupac playing in your head the way you were looking out there, man.
Oh, I know that building well. I spent I spent one night in a year in a holding room in that federal building. Let me ask you something, Nick. You're out in California. Did you expect you've been to, I believe, all the No Kings protests? You covered one with us, the last one. Did you expect this? And how do you feel? Did you expect the size of the crowd and the engagement that you're seeing?
You know, let's put it in perspective, brother. This doesn't kick off for another hour and a half, and you already have people out here standing in the sun. You see me wiping my brow. It's hot.
Can you go horizontal for us, Nick?
Yeah, let's see that here. You can see.
No, I meant with your phone.
Oh, say
turn your phone
horizontal.
Turn your phone horizontal.
Don's on, he's on the
You got it. There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Ah,
There you go.
television.
Part of the controversy here, Don, is that they shut down freeways, they've shut down the parking structures, they've made things very sort of challenging for people here who want to show up. And so there's some frustration. We were talking to some activists. They're planning on some civil disobedience here later, so that could happen. But right now, it's just a party. You got the bacon wrap hot dog ladies, you got the speakers being set up, and you got that park behind me, which was decided some really tense clashes in the past. Right now it's quiet, but like I mentioned, an hour and a half so before things get kicked off, people are already very excited. And talking all about those independent superstars you guys hosted a show, they're very thrilled, man, that there's actually independent journalists carrying water for the country. This is not what you're going to see on legacy media.
That's right.
This is not what you're going to see on traditional media, and it's because people like you who are platforming people like me, giving the voice to the community. It makes a difference, guys. So thank you so much for giving us a voice.
Yeah, but Nick, you got to remind people what you went through, because I remember you were on with me, and we talked about when you were outside that hotel where the ICE guys were staying, and you were on the front page of the Drudge Report. I mean, that was some crazy stuff. Remind people of what was going on in Minneapolis at that time.
You know, we live in an era right now where press freedom is being violated every single day, and unfortunately, not to make a story about myself, but I was one of those journalists who had my press freedom violated and the constitutional rights violated. I had federal agents push me into a line of fire in Minneapolis despite repeatedly identifying myself as press, wearing a badge. And look, just because I don't agree with what President Trump does doesn't mean that I don't still abide by journalism ethics. And it's that professionalism that is our ultimate credential, and that does not matter. Yesterday, it was me being, having a long gun pointed at me. Tomorrow, it could be any one of us watching this show. It is really very clear and evident to those of us who are on the streets and have been out here that it's us versus them. And if you're not wearing a law enforcement badge, you are treated immediately as, sort of an enemy or a threat at the very least. We are out here because we have a voice. Our voice it matters. Our institutions have been corrupted in this country, even if the players who work there have not. And you see just the difference, I'm close to my mom just like you are close to your mom. My mom could be a news director in a top 10 market. She believes in what we do because she sees stuff on our pages that is not shown in the news. And it's that silencing that's happening in real time and in a very massive way right now, which makes our voices
Very true.
Very true.
And Nick, as you know my mom. Nick and my mom speak when I'm not. They're friends, but outside of our friendship. And the same thing, my mom sends me stuff from local guys and Nick. And I'm like, I did not see this anywhere. And my mom is one of my producers, let's put it that way.
Amen. Appreciate you, Nick. No, you're speaking, we're a little jealous of your location. It's not as warm where we are, so please stop showing that shot. It's just making us sad.
Hey, you guys hungry? Here's some bacon and hot dogs. There you go.
You're making it worse.
Wow.
Now you're making it worse, Nick. Can we go to Jolly real quick? It's like he's got someone fun.
Yeah, we're going to go to
Thanks,
Jolly.
guys,
We're
so
going to say join some folks here. Therese here and Paul Rykoff's here. Joy, I'll let you introduce them. Let's see what Jim is doing.
Absolutely. We will bring them in formally after we find out who Jolly's got the delivery. He's got a sign, Jolly. What you got?
Yeah. I'm here with, I got several people actually. Number one, tell us about your son.
My son is depicting the awful, dreaded arch that Trump wants to build outside of Arlington National Cemetery in Memorial Circle to aggrandize himself. And just bear in mind, he's President Bones first, has not served a day in the Army, and yet he wants to disrespect all of the souls that are buried in Arlington National Cemetery who are here to be resting in peace for all eternity.
Thank you so much for saying that. I agree with you. And notice how she's got the arch here on her side built out of the Epstein files. What's the semblance of that?
Well, it's just that he will do anything to distract from the Epstein files and its culpability in the Epstein world.
Amazing.
Wow.
Okay, Jolly, you find the good ones. Go for it. What you got?
Also, I'm here with Jake. You guys probably heard, Joy, you've heard about the Flair movement that had a continued presence outside of Union Station for about 9 months. Jake's one of the co-founders of Flair.
No,
Jake, what do you think of what's happening right now? Do you feel like there's been progress, or where are we headed?
I don't think there's been progress. I do think there's been progress. Some people are waking up. America needs to wake up where we're headed for a disaster, honestly. America's going to crumble if we don't get up and get going. Days like this are great, but we need sustained pressure. We need to not just show up on one Saturday. And these Saturdays have a purpose. They get people out, they get people motivated. But we really need to get going, sustained pressure, or we're headed for disaster.
What do you think is going to happen on the midterms?
Are they going to be fair? Who knows? Probably not. I would guess I would not depend on the midterms. Why is if they're fair? It's gonna be a blue wave, and he's done in 2027.
I guess my question is, can we make it that far?
At this rate, it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be hard. It's not looking good. Every day they come out with bigger disasters, more power grab, voter suppression kind of stuff. And they're not gonna really let us get there. They're not gonna let us get there if we don't stand up now.
And Don, Joy, James Group Flair has literally been encamped in D.C. for almost the entirety of last year, and they've been going up to Congress every Monday, and lobbying Congress to push for impeachment. And this is one of the co-founders of that group saying, "Hey, I don't know, we're gonna make it to November. Hey, I think America's crumbling before our eyes. Do you think we're underreacting?"
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially with the Epstein files, the war with Iran, him basically suffocating Cuba. We're not acting fast enough. We're not doing enough to stop this. I don't know why we're not flooding the streets every day, getting this to stop. If everybody in the country stood up, it would be over. Instead of maybe 3.5% today.
Yeah. Thanks, Jake. Listen, also, I lost him, but there was a guy out here a minute ago who his sign said, "I chopped Stephen Miller's house." And I said, "What the hell does that mean?" So I asked him. He said, "No, I went to Stephen Miller's house and I wrote over his entire sidewalk in front of it with chalk." Basically, calling him the fascist that he is. He got arrested for it. I thought that was pretty dope. The fact of the matter is, we're here in D.C., and everybody I talk to, everybody out here at this point, if you talk to them right now, there's a unified message, and that's we're running out of time. We got to do something now. This is not just lip service. It's a totalitarian coup from the inside. And everybody I ask, what do we do? Hey, what do we do next? The answer, overwhelmingly, is the American people have to stand up in solidarity and fight back together.
There you go. Thank you, Jolly Good Ginger. Always bringing us the dope guests. We appreciate that. Let me bring up a couple other dope guests here. Paul Rykov, our dear friend, independent journalist, independent period, and a guy whose basketball game I interrupted the other night to get on the Jordan Beach Show, and also our friends, speaking of independent media, Teray, host of Teray News TV, right here on the YouTube. Guys, let's get you guys in that order. I want to start with you, Paul. We are in the midst of apparently pre-World War III. Is that coming up among the people that you're talking with, and where are you?
Right, yes. Right now I am on 49th and 7th, Joy, and the crowd is huge. I'm under a giant Mario Brothers ad, which is kind of surreal. But the energy here is really, really inspiring. I mean, there's so much diversity, and there's so many fucking people. I mean, this is a lot of people. And I've lived in New York my whole life. I've never seen something this big. And I think, yes, everybody is supercharged by the war in Iran. I think that every protest has gotten bigger, but now that this Iran war is unfolding, caskets are coming home. I'm seeing a lot more veterans, and I think it's broken a seal for people who wouldn't otherwise protest. So this is a tipping point. I think it's a tipping point also because we're actually unified as a country. Like, we haven't been unified in a long time, but we were unified around ICE. And now we're unified against the war in Iran. I think it's created kind of a triangulation around Trump, especially with independents and Republicans, that we've never seen before. So this is amazing level of creativity, energy, positivity. So many kids and families. I mean, you got people from all backgrounds here. And I think it's really sending a statement, not just to the country, but to the world, that we're not all fucking crazy. And that we don't all, there has to be an alternative narrative to the world from America. And this is what it looks like.
Thank God, because we're not all fucking crazy. We need somebody to know that. And Teray, the other project I love that you do is Culture Fries. I want to talk about the cultural kind of moment that we're in a little bit. This is your sweet spot. But can you kind of give us a reset on where we stand right now with all these protests going on globally, not just here in the U.S.?
Oh my God! I mean, the entire world is against the Iran war. The polling in England and in Europe is lower than it is here. About 60% of Americans oppose doing this at all. About 60% of Americans oppose how we're doing it. The numbers in Europe are even lower than that. That's part of why they're not getting involved. The numbers in Asia are even lower than that. That's why they're not getting involved. Nobody finds this war legitimate because it's not legitimate. I hope that we have said on this broadcast multiple times, this is an illegal war against an enemy that was not attacking us, and is also now saying, hey, I will stop if you stop attacking us in Iran and in Gaza and in Lebanon, because those are all one struggle to Iran. And those of us who understand the Middle East understand those are all one linked struggle. So stop attacking us in all these different fronts. Now,
People can't believe we're selling real gold jewelry for under $40. I get it. After 33 years of charging hundreds for these same pieces, even I can't believe these prices. But we're closing next Friday and have boxes of inventory left that we simply can't take with us. I'm Maya, and my husband Henry and I have handcrafted every single piece in this shop. We've never used plated metals or taken shortcuts, just solid gold that will never tarnish or turn your skin green. For over 3 decades, these pieces sold for what they were worth, but everything must go. We're doing an 80% off everything sale with free shipping because honestly, I'd rather see our life's work worn and loved than sitting in storage boxes. Each piece is made with the same care and quality we've always put into our work. We should have been out last week, so this true...
now, you can imagine how Israel's going to respond to that. So I'm wondering, how do we even get out of this? Because this is not just military now. It's also an economic warfare as far as the Strait of Hormuz and what's going on there. So we are trapped. This is a quagmire of the sort that Trump said we were not going to get into. No more forever wars. He saw the Middle East as this potential sort of thing that could grab you and hold on to you forever, like Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq. And yet, here we go again. He was talked into this madness by Netanyahu. And here we are again in another Middle Eastern quagmire, another American president who doesn't know how to get out of a war that Israel wants this very badly. I just looked up this morning, Joy. Israeli Jews want this at a clip of 90%. The Israeli left wants this at a percentage of like 75%. So they are all in. This is the best thing that Netanyahu's done in years for them. So he is full steam ahead. The people are behind him. The Iranian government wants to continue fighting. Trump clearly wants to get out and doesn't know how.
Yeah.
So this is a mess.
Well, apparently he's bored with it. I mean, that's the reporting, is that he's bored. He wants to move on. He wants to move on. How do you move on?
Reality TV
You know,
show.
I am so proud of the way Jim Acosta has rebounded from whatever happened at CNN to being an independent media star, subject star, YouTube star, TikTok. I love that. And Joy, I talk to you all the time. Don, I haven't talked to you in a minute. How was
I was on
it?
your show. Sorry, not to say.
Like, so since you've been inside, like since you became a real man, like how was it? I mean, thank you. How was the food? Did they hold the Crips hold you down?
Y'all want to have a side conversation about Don's life outside of CNN on this broadcast right now. Our main job before we get off of this show, and you can help with that, Teray, is we have to come up with a name for Jim Acosta's fans. There is a Jim Acosta thirst revolution that is taking place that no one anticipated when he left CNN and went into independent media. So everybody needs to, we're going to crowdsource the idea of what we're going to call the Jim Acosta fans, because they're out there. But let me go really quick back out to the streets, because we got to get a little bit more before we finish. Do we have more people in these streets? Oh, do you have somebody next to you?
Joy, can I say something real quick, Joy, before you do that?
Do it. Yes, please.
Yeah, because I'm in. All right, so if you look right here in front of me on the ground, so the guy I told you who lit up Steve Miller's sidewalk with chalk, in honor of that, all of D.C. did it today. So right behind us is Stephen Miller's house. This is where he lives. All right? And if you look at the messages that everybody...
Looks like a prison.
Exactly.
Looks like a prison.
We don't want to dox the guy. Don't show where. Don't talk about where he lives.
Fuck it. I'll give you his address. I'm kidding. All right.
No.
I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. Even right here, somebody wrote. Let's read some of this. Stephen Miller's lair, fire Miller, free DC, fuck fascists. But I felt an empty block, and I want to leave a message here from Joy Ann Reid and Don Lemon and Jim Acosta. So, what should we leave? You guys' message. What do you want to say?
Leave me out of this one.
Don Lemon. Hey, Don.
He already got a case.
Leave me out of this one, darling.
I'm not doing it, Don. Free Don Lemon. All right.
Signed Joy Reid. There you go.
Signed Joy. I'm gonna do a Joy Henry signature. Joy.
Joy, this is literal white splaining. He's using your voice.
Katie Miller is going to come after us now. I hope you guys know where it's going. Jesus
Or
Christ.
in my nightmares because he's a bit more grumpy like, so you might see him in my.
Listen, thanks for having me on here. I have to go. I gotta go to the stage and do some stuff. Thanks for your continued coverage. Joy and Don, Tim, love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jolly. Thank you, Jolly. Let's see, Nick Valencia, help a brother out. Who
Yeah,
you got anybody out there?
Oh no, do we lose Nick? He's adjusting his camera. Let's get a final comment from Paul Rykoff before we end this here, Paul, because you're in the thick of it. So let's get another comment from you. Have you talked? Like, give us just the sort of feeling and the vibe, or talk to somebody if you can. If you can grab somebody next, grab.
A couple things. Number one, what about the accostinators? I think that's a potential idea.
Accostinators.
All right. I love that.
I'm gonna note on that. I like it.
Don Lemon, I haven't seen you since they arrested you, and I just want to give you props and support. And I want to remind everybody that if they could come after Don Lemon, they could come after anybody, and that's a shock to across the bow of our democracy. And I don't think it's gotten enough attention and respect. But much respect to you, my old friends, for all you've been doing. Let me tell you something. It's kind of surreal to be between the M&M store and like Platinum Doll Strip Club, and then a giant cannabis sign. But in reality, when men and women are in harm's way right now, getting shot at and killed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we have to always ground it in the reality of the fact that right now, young men and women are in harm's way, over 50,000 of them, right? And by the time this weekend is over, he could put tens of thousands on the ground. And I think that's really, really important to understand, because I've said this before to you, Joy. He's all gas and no brakes. It's not just about Iran, it's about a forever war. Iran is just number 9 on the long list, which could include
What the hell is that?
Cuba
No,
and could
you're
include
here.
Colombia. I mean, he's telegraphing his punches. So a lot of people are out here today to oppose forever wars. And that's very important as a galvanizing force for America. Yeah.
So true. And Paul, look, that is the 50,000 that matters, not the Dow. The Dow is at 50,000. That's not the number that matters. And I'm glad you bring that.
Also note that 1,500 Iranian civilians have been killed by bandits. And there are actual combatants who are fighting against them, and then there are civilians, including 170 girls who are at school, people who are in hospitals. So we have bombed their basic infrastructure, schools, hospitals, buildings, not just military installations.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
A soccer
there's
field.
something else too, guys, that I just want to, I'm not a big fan of like the term "no kings." Just, I think it requires too much explaining. I think if this was just called "No Trump," we might have 3x the number of people that we have right now. And if it was no forever wars and fights, we'd have even more people, and it's growing, right? Because people don't care what it's called anymore. They're coming out to say hell no, and especially when it comes to war. This is a unifying moment, and I think that's really important. We've never had everybody together, and we're kind of together now. So now we got to turn it into change.
Yeah, maybe it should be called No Dummies, because the stuff we're doing is dumb.
Well,
Hey, Paul,
I gotta put this sign up here.
There you go.
For a lot of people.
There you go.
Hey, Paul, people are working in the background to try to get us together for a while now. So I hope to see you either on my show or I'll come do some stuff for you. But thank you, I really appreciate it. And as a veteran, I just want to know, as someone who served this country, what do you think of how our Defense Department is handling this, or our War Department?
There's no such thing as a Department of War.
I know.
No, I think it's really important. Joy and I have talked about this before. He's not the Secretary of War.
No.
He's the acting Secretary of Culture War.
Yeah.
He is a culture warrior that's been installed in the most important position in the cabinet. And this has always been the plan. So I would urge everybody to understand the plan was to send a radical culture warrior into the Pentagon to wage culture war within the Pentagon. They have succeeded. They have captured the Pentagon. Now they are turning the Pentagon on the world. right? So 2025 was really about taking over America. Now they want to dominate the Western Hemisphere and use the Pentagon as the vehicle to do that. So Pete is obviously disqualified. He's rattled. And I just would say, don't cheer for his demise because our enemies are celebrating. And we are all safe. We're lucky right now that so many, cops and first responders are out here protecting our right to protest. But we've never been less safe. And it's in large part because of his failed leadership. Any Republican or Democrat who hasn't already tried to remove him is wrong. I'm an independent. 45% of this country is independent. And a lot of that is because we're fed up with both parties and we think that they both failed us. So this is gut check time. Right? For everybody. You got to stand up and be counted.
I'm curious how Paul feels as a military man seeing we are not winning this conflict. And part of America has always been we have the baddest military in the world and we can accomplish anything militarily very quickly. And that's just not a Trump thing. That has been always part of the subtext of America. We hit them with as much as we possibly can. We have more Tomahawk missiles on Iran than in any conflict in the last decade. And they're still fighting. And they're still on their feet. And they're still blocking Hormuz. They're still dropping bombs on Tel Aviv. They've destroyed all our bases in the Middle East. This is a military failure for us. How do you rectify that? How do you feel about that? How do we even make sense of that?
Well, I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a failure because here's the thing, it's so far from done, right? I mean, there's an old saying that when you upset the hornet's nest, the hornets decide when it's over. And that's what's happening right now. We've got to just appreciate the fact that the missile attacks are daily, the drone attacks and the drone threats are regular and rising, and they don't just stop at our water's edge. Drone attacks on U.S. soil are something we definitely are underprepared for. We've seen drone operations over military bases in the U.S., and we are really, really less safe than ever before. And that's what you got to call them on, because Iran seems so far away. But the war is very real for the people in Ukraine, very real for the people in Tel Aviv, and it could increasingly become real for us. So we've got to always hold them accountable to that lack of safety and the waste of our military, right? Our blood, our treasure, our men and women who are in harm's way right now. And there are a lot of vets here. I'm walking about a block ahead of a giant constitution, which is pretty damn inspiring, because that's why a lot of people are here, because they understand the Constitution. And when it comes to war, thank you, man. When it comes to the Constitution, the Congress is supposed to decide. And he's just blown past them. They're not even a speed bump. So it's long past time for our Congress to try to reel in what has become a forever war. And if they can't, the people need to do it. They shut down the government over ICE. They shut down the government over DHS and over healthcare. How about shutting down the fucking government over never-ending illegal war that's killing sons and daughters? Gut check time, America. Where are you at? Let's go. Come on.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, right now we don't have a Congress with any spine in its leadership that is willing to take on Donald Trump when it comes to this war. And Paul, you're absolutely right. And the other thing that I think is very concerning to me, and should concern a lot of Americans, is what Pete Hegseth said the other day when he was with Donald Trump. He said that he would like the Pentagon to be a partner when it comes to domestic law enforcement, when it comes to dealing with things in the United States, where the United States military should have no place. Right. And I'm telling you, these sneak previews of coming attractions, folks. And I just
this is the most important story in America. I'm going to keep saying it. He can do anything he wants with the most powerful military the world has ever seen. It includes putting them in U.S. cities. They are right now extended in D.C. until 2029. He said out loud yesterday he wants them in New York City and he wants them in Chicago. ICE is giving a preview of what they want to do to interrupt the election. Steve Bannon said it this week. They're good at checking IDs. They're doing it at the airports. That is a warm-up for what they want to do to disrupt the election. So especially to all the Democrats who think we can just wait till November, he can invade 3 more countries between now and November and have troops in U.S. soil and invoke the Insurrection Act. That is the plan. And they are on plan. And imagine how much farther ahead of plan they would be if Hegseth and Noam weren't fucking up all the time.
If they weren't incompetent, be in far worse shape. You're absolutely right. You're only being saved by their incompetence.
Thank you, Paul.
You got it,
all
guys.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All these people out here, are being brave, man. Courage is contagious. Keep it going, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank them all for us. We
Hey, Teray, you were talking about the moment that we're in before we went to call. What do you want to say?
At Raising Cane's, we focus on making the most crazy chicken finger meals, getting them right.
Back on commercials. Ain't supposed to be on here this long.
Millions of women have reversed hair loss in 3 to 9 months thanks to
Come
minoxidil.
on,
Introducing the Minoxidil Plus.
I mean, you know, we're in a war that we don't know how to get out of, that Israel wants to perpetuate, that Iran wants to perpetuate until Israel and America are like, we don't want to go back there. So how do we get out of that? What are we supposed to, you know, we cannot negotiate. My God, the attempt at diplomacy from Trump over the last week, announcing publicly that the Iranians were begging him secretly for negotiations and to end this, and the Iranians coming out and be like, we did no such thing. We don't even make demands, and they have made demands, but they're not making new demands right now. They are not negotiating. We do not want a ceasefire. We want you to regret having ever come this way. And when you remember that America and Iran were engaged in fruitful and productive, good faith negotiations the day before the first bombing that was scheduled to continue a few days later. The Iranians are like, how can we trust them? We were negotiating and you started attacking us. They had made serious concessions to not have a nuclear future, and then America attacked them. So why would we negotiate with you again? You are not an honest broker. So we have a president whose word means nothing on the world stage. When he threatens them, they don't listen. When he tries to negotiate with them, they don't listen. When he calls for the rest of the world's help, they don't listen. That is a very dangerous place for America to be in, and we are very isolated. And the world that we have always known, where America is the big power in the world, supposedly keeping peace in the world, that is over. We are not the most powerful nation in the world. There's not one nation that has usurped us yet, but we are in a sort of balkanized situation in the world now, which none of us have ever seen.
Yeah, it's a multipolar world, and we don't run it anymore. Let's get Nick Valencia in. It looks like we've got someone to talk to. Nick.
Yeah, Nick, I just want to say, Nick, you're kind of just getting started there. Well,
can you guys hear me now? Okay, just to pick up on that last, you also have legacy media making excuses for the president, and when we saw him claim that he was negotiating with Iran, I don't think that there was a mistake that he was on his way to do an interview with CNBC. The markets were watching, and then you have those same anchors that turn around after Iran released a statement saying what negotiations, and then of course they wouldn't admit if they were real because it's a death sentence in Iran. It is so beyond anything being straightforward in Trump's America. You know, nothing is straightforward in Trump's America. Let me juggle in all this by myself here, guys. And if anyone knows that, it's our guests who are joined here by Alex Augustine. She's somebody who's charged by the feds. Here, Alex, why don't you hold that so I can get my act together?
Hello.
She's also one of the, can you guys hear me here? Alex is also one of the quintessential activists here in Los Angeles, and she was charged with a federal assault on an agent for using a 15-ounce umbrella to shield her face from being basically sprayed with bear spray.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you've gone through here.
I mean, it's been a really chaotic journey. After my arrest, you know, we're still fighting charges. I am still in court proceedings till this day. I have court again on April 14th for charges that were added after I refused to accept 3 different plea deals. So it's just a lot of bullying, a lot of intimidation from our government. They know that they do not have a leg to stand on, and watching all of the other protesters and journalists and activists stand up and fight against this government just like I am is the exact reason we are all out here today, because we will not be intimidated.
It's not just
So,
the
we
first
will
charge.
not
If
be
you get charged
intimidated.
again, you're going to have to go back to court. I don't really understand what happened to double jeopardy. You know, it
I
seems
get
like they're
you,
going
Laura.
after you for the same thing.
Yeah.
That's only murder, Nick.
But the dumb-ass president.
One of them duplicative and excessive, but
Messing
allowed
up
the
the
other
world.
one to remain. And so that last charge is failing to follow a lawful order is what I have to go to federal court for.
Wow. And then
That's
everyone
awful.
that has sort of any sort of criticism against the Trump administration at this point is seen as an activist who was mislabeled as a domestic terrorist. Can you speak on just how difficult it is to be part of this resistance? And it seems like it's common sense, but being labeled as sort of so many people should be afraid of?
I would not say it's difficult at all. I love the saying, like, all of my heroes are on the CIA watch list and all of your heroes are on the Epstein files.
Come
so
on.
at the end of the day, I'm not really worried about it because we all know what we're out here fighting for. It is very easy to be a part of the resistance because we are all on the right side of history, and that should be an easy decision to make for everyone.